Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth. I am back again for your January 2015 monthly tarot horoscope. This is for everyone with their sun, moon, or ascendant in Taurus. My lovely Tauruses, this is for you guys. So as you can see, I got boxes in the background, but I finally moved into my own place and it's great. It's amazing, actually. I'm in kind of a heaven. I'm in heaven, I think. So here we go. I'm just going to roll it out like I usually do. I hope you guys had a wonderful New Year's. And if you're watching this before actual January 1st, have a happy New Year. Go buck wild this year, Taurus. Buck wild is your middle name. Why not? You know, don't hold back. Jeez, you guys got some serious stuff happening though. This is for January. I feel like in the beginning of January, there's a lot of tension. I feel like you guys are really tense right now. And then later on, you're going to have some interesting stuff. But let's start off with the tension part. And I feel like it's tension because there's this Five of Swords in reverse. Now, the Five of Swords, okay, just so you know, reverses in my deck are different than other decks, okay? The Five of Swords is survival mode, right? Or a person that's like a bad person, but, you know, 9 times out of 10, it's a survival mode instinct. The kind of like you've been in survival mode for a while, or you've been fighting with someone. And the reverse is actually to take the higher road by not fighting, by just walking away. And Tauruses really are just so sweet that they don't like conflict most of the time. If somebody has a strong Taurus in their chart, they just don't like conflict. They'll turn around and ignore somebody for a really long time rather than telling them exactly what they think. Whereas in Aquarius, somebody like me, for instance, will just like, my aunt always just say, bop them over the head with it. Because an Aquarius can't take it. Libras need to discuss calmly, but Aquariuses just need to come out with it and just like, boom, you know, say it. Whereas Tauruses won't do that. They'll hold it in because they just don't want to, they won't even bother, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And so I feel like you're in this mode of being the bigger person, which is good in a sense, but I feel like there's sort of like things that you're not saying. It's important to have a discussion, okay? It's important to find the balance, right, between what maybe an Aquarius response would be, which is bopping somebody else over the head with your opinion or what your thoughts are. The Libra way, which is to discuss to the bitter, better, you know, end, okay, which could take hours and hours and hours until a Libra actually feels like satisfied, which is basically never, okay? And then, and between what you would do, which is not do anything, you know? So you need to find that, you need to find the best way to work things out if there's issues in the house that you're living in, or if there's issues in the relationships that you're having. I feel like there's issues in the house. I don't know why I said that. I'm just feeling like there's issues in the house. I don't know why that's coming to me. I mean, I feel like this is like a family unit issue. I don't know why. You know, issues within the family unit. Things like that. That's coming to me. So yeah, that's the path that you're on. It's a strange little place to be, I feel, because to me, this card is more like a response. It's a response. It's not, it's not really a place. It's hard to describe. It's not really what I would call a track. It's a response. It's a moment. It's a day rather than like a month, you know. It's one day. So I feel like one day in January, you're going to feel like, or you may already feel this way, that there's someone maybe in your surroundings, whether it's in your house or not, that is bothering you, and maybe you've had a conflict with them. Maybe you've had conflict in the past, but basically right now you're kind of ignoring them. You're kind of just letting it go. You're letting it all slide because you don't want to deal with it anymore, and you're just like, you don't even know how to deal with it anymore. That's the thing. You don't know how. And because you don't know how to deal with it anymore, you're just kind of like, you're trying to be the bigger person. And being the bigger person is great to a certain point, because things still need to get discussed and things still need to get resolved. I feel like some of you have like troubled teenagers, or like, you know, troubled kids for some reason. Maybe you're having issues with your kids. That's coming to me. You know, maybe some of you do, and you're just like, you don't know what to do about them anymore, you know? There is a guy named Alan O'Donoghue that I refer to quite a lot, actually. He lives in Ireland. He is my crush's brother, Colin O'Donoghue's brother. And Alan is amazing. He's a coach, and he is really good on this stuff. I'll put a little link to him if you guys want to reach out to him. And you know, if you have questions about, you know, positive parenting, how to positively parent, I think you guys would benefit. Some of you would benefit from that. If you're having issues in your household, also benefit from his positive coaching. He's a coach, and this is kind of his specialty. So what's crossing you is the Six of Swords in reverse, okay? And the Six of Swords in the upright is freedom from worry, sleeping better, moving on from troubled times, okay? But the Six of Swords in reverse is worries still nipping at your heels. Collection agencies, ex-boyfriends, a troubled childhood, things from the past, things that you can't escape. You know, if you go somewhere, you're going to take those things with you, having to deal with those things, taking those same issues with you. You know, I've moved a zillion times, and I always take, you know, all of my mail, any old things come with me. You know, they all come with me. And we take our baggage. It's baggage, I feel. And, you know, the word baggage kind of gets a bad rep because there was a season of The Bachelor where they talked about baggage. They got this huge fight about baggage and all that. I just think that in this situation, we all have our own baggage, okay? Let's just say. And because the situation that you're in right now, even if you try to avoid and you move on, and this card is sort of representing moving on and getting away from difficult things, it's still going to there is still going to be tension. It still needs to be resolved. That's what's coming to me. It still needs to be resolved. Let me ask Critter what Critter thinks. Hang on just a minute. Yeah, Critter's kind of reiterating what I'm saying. It's saying that you need to find a way to resolve it. You need to just find a way to work things out in a positive way. Because my feeling is, you know, these two things crossing each other, it's just kind of this murky. The water is kind of murky. There's the potential for things to be purple, but I don't know if you can see even just the colors together. They're purple and yellow. And when I see that, it's kind of like they complement each other, so it's positive, but there are still things to be addressed, Taurus. So don't be like, well, I don't want to deal with it right now. I'm just going to move on. No, it needs to be dealt with, because even if you move on, it's still going to go with you. That's the message, okay? And it's funny. The foundation is not knowing the answers. The foundation is the High Priestess in reverse. The High Priestess, I feel, is a woman who has of a high spiritual standing. Is someone who's psychic. She's a medium. She has her own psychic gifts. She's kind of, you know, a hippie in a way. She does kind of her own thing. She is her own person. But the problem with her in reverse is that even psychics sometimes can't see their own shit, you know? That's just how it is. You'll ask pretty much any psychic. Psychics network and contact each other because they can't see it. They can see it for other people. They can't see it for themselves. You know, it's sort of like psychics are blind in that way. It's just like, it's very difficult to to know. And I feel like, Taurus, you really just don't know what the answer is. I feel like you have a lot of spiritual gifts, and you are a very spiritual person, and Tauruses generally are. But you just don't know the answers right now, and it's troubling you. It's really, really troubling you. Because of this reading, I would definitely suggest you having a private reading with me, because this is something that I would encourage you to look farther into, because you don't really know. I would either recommend doing a trade with someone, another psychic, or I'm happy to do a reading for you. This is one of those times where, I'm not just self-promoting here. I'm just telling you that, you really do need help with figuring out what the answers are and how to go about resolving this. If you continue on in this way, it's sort of like all you need is you're lacking wisdom. You're lacking the wisdom that the owl in this card has. And the owl kind of helps her. She's very knowledgeable. But when it's upright, the owl is escaping. The owl is taking off. The owl is not at her side. So it's like wisdom is not on your side. You just don't know what to do. And the thing is that there is also an element of not being real, okay? Being a little bit fake, being a little bit like surface, not showing what's underneath. And the Taurus, again, I always say that Taurus is kind of a little bit of a mystery to me, because Taurus, you don't really know what's going on underneath the surface of a Taurus. It keeps a lot, tucked away, and it's very, grounded, and it just doesn't, the Taurus people, people that have a lot of Taurus, they just don't emote as much as others, and it's more underneath. And so I feel like the problem is by doing that on a continuous basis, I feel like Taurus really becomes out of touch with where it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to be doing, and becomes kind of, starts living almost like living a lie. That's what's on the tip of my tongue. So it's sort of like you're living a lie, Taurus, in a way. Not saying all the time. I'm just saying it's sort of like you have more of a tendency than others to live the lie. Because the spirituality that you have, a lot of times, a lot of people don't tap into it. And because they don't tap into it, they don't really know what they're doing. And so they kind of keep up appearances. They keep up with the Joneses, but they're not being real with others, and they're not being real with themselves. And so the message here is you need to become more real. Admit to yourself that maybe you were wrong, okay? Or maybe that you don't know the answers, okay? And maybe that's okay. It's okay to not know. It's okay to be scared of whatever the truth is about yourself or about others. It's okay to show vulnerability too. Because Tauruses, they give off the appearance of being very strong and very tough. But I feel like there's a lamb that lives inside of them, and they don't show this side. And so I feel like it's very important to show the vulnerability to others, because that's how you connect to others, And what's in the recent past is you actually had, this is you, Taurus, right, in the upright position, and that's fate, right? And then this is in reverse. In reverse, it says, fated to happen no matter what your choice is. Beware of reversals and challenges. The road will be rocky. Positive outcome. You are dealing with something that was fated to happen, okay? I'm feeling like there was a move. Some of you are, planned on moving, and I feel like that was fated to happen, or that's still fated to happen. Maybe it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it's fated that, you kind of were moving on, from your difficult issues. And then right now, what's crowning you is, it says wrongs will be made right. You will come out on top. Any injustice will be taken care of by the angels. So justice is really on your side. This is the justice in reverse. And Justice in reverse is something that you don't have to decide on. It's something that you don't have to take any action for, okay? This is almost sort of like in karma in a way. You could say it's karma. But it's also just the angels kind of stepping in, seeing that maybe something was done or a situation wasn't quite right, and kind of stepping in and taking care of it for you. It's just one of those things where you don't need to worry about making any big decisions. That's what's crowning you anyways, okay? Beginning of January, I would say, I just wouldn't, don't fret, don't borrow trouble, don't overanalyze. I feel like some of you are overanalyzing on some things, and everything is going to turn out all right, is what I'm trying to say. What's right around the corner is timing. You got the timing card, okay? It's a girl who's plucking the fruit. And when dealing with vegetables or fruit, it's a timing thing. If you pluck the fruit before it is ripe, you rip the vine, okay? And you never want to do that. You always want to be patient and wait for things to come to that point in time in which the fruit is ripe and you can pick them. Everybody gets over anxious at times, and I feel like Taurus, maybe you're anxious. I feel like some of you have like anxiety issues, and you're very, very like hyped up. And it says to wait or not to wait, depending on relationship, project, or issue. This is encouraging you to have a more vegetarian diet, more fruits and vegetables rather than meat and soy. I would say avoid soy and avoid dairy as well. Avoid those things. Vegetables, fruits, and the vegetables are key. It's sort of like to be or not to be. That's the question with this card. My feeling is that there's just anxiety about waiting for it. Waiting for the right moment or waiting for the time. I feel like financially, you're holding on to your money. I just never noticed this. So there's this dragon holding on to this fruit. And I feel like the dragon is saying to wait. That's my feeling. You still need to wait. On some things, it's sort of like things are going to be lining up for you. Like it's sort of like you're getting your ducks in a row. And once those ducks are in a row, you're going to, shoot them down one by one. Okay? So, I would say certain things, just beware. Try not to be anxious. Okay? Just go through the list of stuff that you have to do one at a time. And then see how things progress. In the position of emotions, you got the Mr. Right card, but it is also the absolute success card. This is the Midas touch, and of course, this is you, Taurus. This is for especially Taurus guys. This who are watching. This is you. Taurus females also. You're looking, emotionally, you're going to be happiest when you'll be happiest when you're successful, when you are making money, when you are saving money, because Tauruses love to save. This is success in all that you do. My issue is the next two cards here, Not necessarily the emotions. I feel like emotionally for you, you're good, but the next two is not so good. So I would say your focus is, I feel like emotionally you're happiest when you're successful and you have money, but it's a timing thing. So be careful. I would say go out as far as to say, be careful what investments you make right now at this time. okay? This is not necessarily the time to put all your eggs into one basket, okay? This is not a time to consolidate down, okay? This is a time to do things one at a time, slowly, surely, carefully. That's you. I'm just reminding you of what you inherently know and you need to do. The Five of Wands is what's coming towards you, which is having a lot of shit on your plate. Literally, the crud, okay, is accumulating at the bottom of this card. And this is, you can see, a guy. It could also be a girl, but I think it is a guy. You know, just beating the world off with a stick. You know, just lots of, you know, the sky is raining, you know, these foxes. It's raining foxes. If it can rain foxes, that would be your world right now, Taurus. And so it's important for you to remember that you're going to get through this. This is a tough time. This is a time when it seems like you can't go on. You don't want to go any farther. There's too many things you got to do. But you can do it, okay? So let me be the cheerleader. You can do this. You got this. The problem is this next card is the Tower card and the position of emotions. Oh, sorry, not position of emotion, position of attitude. Your attitude, and this is kind of what's happening. And this concerns me. This is a major deal, okay? This concerns me because this is a divorce. This is a breakup. This is sudden tragedy or sudden incident or trauma, something unexpected. This is a broken home. This is having major issues, having major problems, things coming to a head. I feel like there are things that needed to be resolved, but they're festering. Instead of them being resolved, they're just festering. It's just like, it's just becoming kind of sick, you know, it's like an ulcer, you know, it just kind of keeps, you know, deteriorating. It's just, that's what's happening. And then because that's happening, it's because it's festered. The pot has been left to boil, okay? Basically, I feel like the pot that's coming to me has been left to boil, and now it is boiling, okay? And you've gone mad. You've gotten really upset, okay? And it is not good for a Taurus to get this angry, okay? It is not good for a Taurus to get this mad. It is not good for a Taurus to get mad at all, because a Taurus will go totally berserk. And I feel like you're headed for something. I feel like if it hasn't happened yet, you are headed for some major family upset. Okay, that's to say the least. Okay, to some big emotional upheaval, also to say the least. Can also be emotions, just unexpected things happening. Okay, but it can also mean just sudden something you were not expecting that's hit you really hard. Okay, to me, this feels like a divorce or a breakup. If you're not in a relationship, then this is something traumatic has happened. This could even be you not being over a past breakup, okay? This could even be, I see this sometimes in the position for people who have had so much going on and they're so inundated with, I would say, disastrous things going on in their life. Whether it's somebody who's sick in their family, or whether it's somebody who's in the hospital, or whether it's somebody that's gotten into a car accident, or whether it's, you know, illness, you know, like I said, illness, or just, you know, something physically traumatic. I mean, some people are just, you know, they're not well, they're in bed. I mean, it's just, I feel like this has a lot to do with the people in your life, not necessarily to do with what's going to happen to you. So I don't want you to panic, okay? I don't think, oh my God, like this shit's going to hit the fan. But I feel like you already kind of feel like the shit's hitting the fan, okay? Because that's what this card is. This is the shit hitting the fan, okay? And this is like after this shit hits the fan, I don't like this energy. I don't like delivering this message. This is a very troubling, disturbing message for me to have to deliver, because I want the best for all of my clients. I don't like seeing this. I don't like thinking that, Taurus, you're going to get that upset that you're just going to really lose your mind and go a little bit crazy, because Tauruses are so lovey-dovey and they totally want the best for the people in their lives. They are the humanitarians in the world, and I feel like they kind of keep it together for the rest of us. And so when they kind of go off the handle, I just feel so bad for them, you know, because it's just like it is unexpected most of the time, and they don't deserve it, you know. They deserve to live in a happy home and have happy life, you know, just like everybody does, you know. So it's hard to see, but I do feel like the problem is that, you know, your attitude is just kind of like you've had it. I feel like you've just had it, and you're cracking, you know, the cracks are showing, you know. And the thing is, if you could get past this, although when I see this in a reading, it's very difficult to get past this. In order to have a good outcome, you can't have the Tower in your attitude. It just doesn't allow you to, you know. So if the world, it's sort of like the world is like, you know, it's sort of like if I see the Tower card is coming in from the outside, or if I see the Tower card in the attitude or the outcome, it's hard to overcome this. It's sort of like the shit's gonna hit the fan, the Tower card's gonna come, and it's destruction. It's sort of like breaking down. I would see it as a breaking down of the old, okay? So in the beginning of the year, this is an interesting place for you to start. It's sort of like the earthquakes, the rumblings have been happening in 2014, but now 2015, it's like boom, you know, the volcano goes, you know, the train goes off track. You know, this is when, you know, this is when it's time to really examine, okay, I would say what your priorities are and how you're going to resolve this issue. You need as much support as you possibly can right now. You need people to know that people are there for you and that they love you, and that no matter what you're going through, that you're going to get through this. That's all you need. That's what you really need to focus on. Because it's sort of just like when the Tower brings this kind of disruption to somebody's life, they are not prepared. So just know that whatever crumbles, okay, in January, there's going to come new things with it, okay? So it's like, I feel like for Aquarius and Pisces, it was all about going through a transition. They're kind of emerging. They are emerging in January, a new person, because they've gone through all this crazy change. I feel like, Taurus, you've resisted all the change that they actually went through, and so you are having to go through that change in 2015. At least in the beginning anyways, because the universe is pushing you to do it, and you've resisted for a long time. And now now, you know, it's the timing thing where it's like, okay, it's time for you to kind of actually go through it. And what needs to happen is the relationship that you're in needs to get dissolved, or the things that are the elements to your life, the things that make up your life, your foundation is going to get shaken up. Now, if you somehow manage to get through the rubble, okay, and pick up the pieces, you will emerge back on top. You're going to come out back on top. And this is everything you can dream of: magic, music, and beauty. Tauruses are all about beauty and art. This is to be a movie star or a music star, or to be famous, to come into your own power. So this is one of those things where I feel like the universe is kind of shaking things up so that you're forced to examine who you are. So that you're forced to change. So that change is is something that you deal with and you know how to resolve. And once you do find a way to resolve your issues and deal with the change, then I feel like you're going to come out on top. But it's very difficult to come out on top when you have the Tower card as your attitude, in the position of attitude. Very challenging. I would say January is going to be a very challenging month. This is some time where you need to, like I said, get as much rest as you can, get as much sleep as you can, get in touch with your people, get in touch with your friends, get in touch with your family that is supportive of you, okay? This is a tough time. And I'm going to pull a final card just to see if there's any final messages. And this is the Hermit, okay? So you need to, I feel like Taurus, you need to go within. This can be coming out of the cave or going into the cave. I feel like Taurus, guys and girls, you need to go into the cave. You need to go in and do some introspection. You need to do what everybody else did in 2014, which is really, really think about where you want to go, what you want to do. Because when the Tower comes along and shakes up the foundation and the whole thing crumbles, well, you know, you kind of have to have a plan. You kind of have to have an idea of what you want. Maybe the plan that you had isn't going to happen. Maybe it's a different plan that you need to re-examine. Tauruses need to do what I call research. They need to go online and they just need to research. They need to make lists, you know, all the possible options. Rather than thinking that it only has to happen in one way, that it's only going to happen in one way, because that's never what life does for us. It's, unfortunately, I mean, for some people, they you know, they get to kind of stick to the status quo. But for most of us, it's change to the very bitter end. So that's how it is. And so for you, you need to go inside. You need to inside yourself and say, okay, it's time to meditate. It's time to think over, rethink what I'm doing. You know, what the plan is. You know, this is a period of waiting, and it's a good outcome. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, so I feel like for you, you need to keep the hope that things are going to be okay, that you're going to get through it. Don't get stuck in the rubble, you know, the rubble of your life after the shit hits the fan, all that. Don't get pulled down by that negativity. And Tauruses are generally upbeat, but I feel like this is going to be a big shakeup for you. Some of you are going to be moving. Some of you are going to be getting engaged, you know. But I feel like you need to focus on the light at the end of the tunnel. It's going to feel like you're in a tunnel, but you need to go in there and you need to do some re-examining, okay, of who you are, what your life is supposed to look like, what the possibilities are, and kind of put together maybe a backup plan just in case plan number 1 doesn't go your way. Anyways, thanks guys for all of your lovely messages. You guys are amazing. Tauruses, I wish you all the best with all of this. This is a heavy duty kind of reading, and you know, this is not something that I've been through this, and this is not something that I really like. I don't think anybody really likes it. I don't envy you at all. But I feel like you're going to be better for it. So just keep your chin up and stay positive no matter what. Know that I love you, and I'm sending you big hugs, big kisses, and I will talk to you guys again soon. If you'd like a private reading, feel free to email me at elizabetholson31 at gmail.com, and it's $75 for an hour, and it's $150 for 2 hours, and I do it either by phone or by Skype, however you want to do it. So anyways, be in touch, have a wonderful new year, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Take care.